Hello and welcome to another episode of Journey to Authenticity, a podcast helping you to become fully authentic on your journey to success. My name is Braiden Belnap, and I'm an individual just like you, striving to build a dream life while staying true to me. And it's my mission to help you achieve your highest level of authenticity possible, all while you build your dream life. But what if your health is lacking? What if your health is lacking to the point that you're experiencing low energy? What if we are physically not confident in our bodies? How do we transform that so that we can really take this vehicle that we have one of in this life to be as efficient as possible? That's why we have our guest Tannon Dowd coming into today, as he has experienced a lack of health in his early life of acne, low energy, and bloating. And he has experienced the flip side of a health, which has allowed him to accomplish healing his gut, which in turn has transformed his energy and his skin. He is now confident in his ability to create and transform his own health as well as others. Welcome to the show, Tannon.
Thank you.
Absolutely. We were talking about this like 3 months ago. I was going through the revamp and now we're here.
Yeah, here we are.
It's exciting. I'm really excited for this one because I've never actually had somebody to talk about health, nutrition, and really owning your body.
Dang, man. I mean, that makes me even more excited then.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, you're by far the most expert person when it comes to that realm from what I'm aware of and what I know.
There are far more expert individuals on this earth than I. But I know a thing or two for sure.
Absolutely. And so the one thing I want to call out is, I talk a lot about authenticity and self in spirit, mind, body. But what I don't talk about a lot is supplementation or owning your diet and what you eat. And the truth is, in that realm, and I could be far off here, so please correct me if so, that's authenticity in itself. What your body needs, what my body needs is two different things. May look similar, but realistically, the foods that my body needs is going to be a little bit different from everybody else. Is that a fair statement? I
would say to some degree, I mean, absolutely. And maybe not even just the foods, but when we really start to, and we'll probably talk a little bit more about this later, but if you kind of take like a herbal approach, if you will, if you are kind of looking at that idea, where herbs can do so much for us, some of us kind of jive better with certain herbs. So like if you did need something, a little boost or something for your stomach or something for, a cough, or your body may want something a little bit different than what somebody else would, even from like a healing medicinal perspective. So yeah, every body, it really is different.
I love that. Every body is really different. That was awesome.
Right. Yes, the truth. Yeah.
So let's take it back. Obviously like you said, I just want to point this out too. Like, people are like, are you an expert? Are you a master? I don't necessarily like that title because to me, the master, the person above everybody else, can now not learn any more things. So I like to take the student approach to about everything I do because it allows me to learn or at least enhance my knowledge wherever I go.
Same.
Absolutely. And the one thing I like to add to this is, let's just say I'm very confident on a process that I follow. If I go into a student seat and I listen to somebody else, even if they teach something that I completely disagree with, maybe it doesn't change my process, but it makes me believe in mine more.
Could be. And not to mention, it shows you a different perspective.
Absolutely.
And whether that solidifies your own, that you're kind of like, man, I definitely agree more with myself, or it just simply kind of offers like maybe not quite that, but you could be onto something. You know what I mean? When you entertain ideas, I think that's
what's important.
It's real good for you. Yeah,
absolutely.
You don't have to accept them, but entertain them. Yeah,
absolutely. You don't shut them down before you at least hold and observe them, to say the least.
Yeah.
So jumping in, your story. Obviously, we're here now. You're what I would consider one of the most healthy people I know.
Thanks, buddy.
Taking it back to before, were you raised to this standard of living? Were you raised to be healthy? Like, what was your story before you got into all this?
Flat out no to your question. I was not raised to the standard at all. Very much what is referred to as the standard American diet, the SAD diet. And that's kind of a well-known saying in the in the health world, I guess, if you will. But that really is the truth. The standard for the American diet especially is pretty bad. You know, very processed, just very fake, you know, old things. No real fresh or nutrients to it, and no awareness of what really should be healthy. You know, that's kind of the craziest part about the diet is people just don't know really what they're supposed to eat, really. A very vague concept. And that's how I grew up was, you know, we had plenty of diabetes in my family and overweight, you know, obese people in my family. That wasn't, you know, out of the ordinary at all. And yeah, it probably wasn't until I was about 21 that I finally started to figure it out.
Okay. So 21, talk to us a little bit about your health when you were 21. What was your current situation at that point? What did your diet look like? Did you use supplements?
I mean, it's kind of crazy to actually think back to that, honestly. Like, every now and then I'll think of it's been over 10 years now. That's wild. I'm 33. It was very much kind of party mode diet. It was a lot of, you know, burritos and Denny's and drinking and just, you know, fast food, just very easy to get stuff, shopping at Walmart, just grabbing just shit, you know. It was weird because I was always, for the most part, you know, fairly thin throughout high school and stuff. You know what I mean? I was, you know, pretty thin, skinny kid. And then at like 18, 19, I kind of started, that kind of changed a little bit, started gaining some more weight. You know, I've been eating like shit. And then by the time I got to 21, I was right at 200 pounds. I graduated high school at like 150 or 155, something like that. So I gained a good bit. And I felt awful. My stomach was just bloated, and I felt so incredibly sluggish. Sleep was awful. The acne was the worst part. If you want the truth of what really got me going on the road to health, it was my freaking acne. That's what it was. And I could not seem to get rid of it. And it just led me to so many different doctors that gave me no answers until I finally figured out it was coming from my gut. And anyways, yeah, that's kind of what I was going through at the time, and it was no good.
That's fair. And the truth is, our gut controls more things that people are aware of.
Basically, like everything. Like your brain and your gut, and I'd say even your heart as a third one, but especially your brain and gut, the connection there. If your gut's in good shape, it's likely that your heart's going to be in pretty good shape too. Absolutely. Much more likely, anyways. If your gut's fucked, you're fucked. That's it, period. You have to take care of your gut. That is everything.
Absolutely. And to go to that point is, like you mentioned, your family had diabetes, so maybe even some heart disease in there, possibly.
Yeah.
The truth is, like I saw a quote the other day. It was an obese person, and they were saying, obesity runs in my family. And then a ripped guy comes out and says, nobody runs in your family.
I love it. I was waiting for it.
And that's the truth, is things can run in your family, but the truth is, how are people showing up in the world in your family? How are people showing up into their day-to-day diets,
right,
working out, and so on and so forth?
It's everything. I mean, genetics play obviously a very large role. There's something called epigenetics that exists, and basically all that is it talks about like gene expression. Like you may have, you know, certain genetics in your family, you know, okay, this runs in my family, alcoholism or diabetes, whatever it may be. You have certain attributes, but by giving your body what it needs to perform at optimal capacity, it is not going to express negative qualities of maybe certain genes that carry those predispositions. That it doesn't have to be your life, but if you're eating a bunch of processed craziness and sugar and things that cause inflammation and cause cellular disrepair, then yeah, those negative parts of the genes are much more likely to express, and you will have disease.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's like cancer. We have cancer cells that come in our body every day, But again, like you said, if we're dieting efficiently, the chances of those becoming quote unquote cancer in your body are low.
Agreed. Way lower. There's so much we can do to control factors. There's some things that we can't really do much. The air pollution is kind of what it is. Soil degradation and lack of nutrient, that's what it is. You can't really do a whole lot about that. You can control what you can, accept what you can't. But by controlling what you can and actually putting in an effort to have a good lifestyle, you can end up controlling a lot. You make a huge, huge difference.
Absolutely. Yeah. And not on just yourself, but everybody around you. I mean, we're talking obesity or whatever genes that are running in your family. There's also like this methodology of, you light a match and you put it by the other match and naturally it goes to the other matches that are in the line, but you take out one and it can't pass to the other match. Or same with the domino strategy. You knock a domino down, it's going to keep going forever. But the moment you just take out one, you give all the other people to come permission to change that reality. That doesn't need to be reality.
That's very powerful. Unfortunately, that really is how it is with people as well. Is it's become such a socially acceptable practice to treat your body like a dumpster. And it's just like, well, that's just what everybody's doing. That's what my mom did. That's how my dad, that's how my friend, what's the big deal? Like, it's just the norm. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not into the normal thing. I like feeling good about myself.
Me too, man. And what's beautiful about it is there's always this upwards, progression, this potential to always be able to do a little bit better. And that's with pretty much every aspect of our lives, I feel like. But I mean, especially to look back and see where I was as I started to get into this and discover what it really meant to have a healthy body. To look back at that then and look at myself now, it's a trip. It really is. The things I have learned about not even just, what the body needs or, food and different things that are good for you, but just the system. What I've learned about how it is set up for us to fail, basically, It is set up. It is 100% set up to make you fail. Yeah, it is a trap, 100%. And it's wild. It is wild.
It's like, what's easier? Paying for the cheaper food or paying for the organic food? Paying for the food that I can just throw in the microwave or paying for the food that I need to cook and get a healthier meal?
People want cheap, they want convenient, but even more so, on an even deeper level, it's like, why do these options even exist? We are like, why is it this way where we have these chemical sprays and pesticides and fertilizers that are literally destroying our soil? They're making us sick. They're leaching into the water supply. They're showing up in wildlife. It's like causing massive issues on an environmental scale. This is no shit. It is a massive issue. It is affecting our food. It's affecting our health. It's affecting everything on the planet. Freaking pesticides, and not to mention the manufacturing, the agricultural processes and stuff of how we do things. All this monocropping that's messing up the soil, and how only farmers produce the food. Nobody makes their own food. Almost very few people have gardens, and truly enough that they're actually living off of it or a decent amount off of it. We are so dependent on the system and agricultural systems that it's to our detriment. We're so far away from food. Like, we're not near any actual food. It's just stuff in packages.
Absolutely.
It's crazy.
I agree 100% with you. And the truth is if you learned, that's a valuable skill in itself. For me, it's kind of nice to know that you have a little bit of extra food from your garden that you can make salsa or whatever it is and have a mass amount of food left over that's healthy.
Totally. And it's just, it is so much better for you. You look at, there's something called the nutrient hoax, where you think about normal packaged stuff, pastas or, whatever, breads and things, especially like, candies and stuff like that, junk food. But we know it's processed. We know it's not that great for you. In most cases, it's just, there's not a lot in it. But people assume like, okay, well, fresh produce and everything, that is good for you though, right? You want to eat real food, fresh produce. That's good. That's good. So I'll go to the store and I'll go to Smith's and I'm going to get a bunch of, lettuce and some apples and peaches and strawberries and whatever, right? And you think it's like really, really good for you, you know? And yes, it is much better for you than the processed stuff for sure. However, this is the nutrient hoax, right? Is that food that's been sitting on the shelf of the grocery store has been picked for months from when it was picked. Some of it even up to like a year, that they will spray like whatever, it's like this weird foggy shit or whatever, like on apples specifically. Like some of those apples had been chilling in the store for a year. They can get up to that old staying in there, and they keep them in the crisper, you know, whatever in the fridge. And they kind of spray this foggy, whatever kind of stuff on there that kind of helps to maintain freshness, you know, dispel anything that is going to make them rot. And it's the same thing for a lot of the produce. I mean, it just sits and sits. And it's from day one, as soon as you pick something from the garden, from wherever it grew, it is already beginning to lose nutrients. Once you've picked it from its root, it is no longer connected to the ground. It is no longer, you know, getting those, like when you cut a baby's umbilical cord, right? It's no longer getting anything from the mother. That's gone now. You must feed that baby, right? But with you can't feed the plants once you've picked them. You know, that's it. You've clipped the umbilical cord. It's time to eat them. And so the longer time goes, the more degradation is happening to nutrients almost across the board, you know, especially in the, you know, antioxidants and the really fine things, you know, certain, you know, vitamin, you know, containing nutrients and things in there. It's all going to start to perish very, very quickly. And that's it. So by the time you start to eat something that you think is really healthy for you at the store, it's nowhere near as good for you as if you fresh picked.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I liked that story with the umbilical cord.
Umbilical cord, yeah.
Not even going to try to say it.
I don't know why that came to mind, but
that from the mother, that is the very truth. That like blew my mind. Like that was a light bulb that got me thinking, because that's the truth. Because I don't think people really can comprehend that, because it's easy to think I pick an apple and the nutrients in it just are there.
Right.
But the truth is, just like a baby, you cut the cord, it's not getting anything anymore, which means it's slowly going to diminish. Because it's the fact, these plants are, quote unquote, alive.
Absolutely.
And so they need to be watered. They need to have food as well to keep them going.
Absolutely.
So that makes a lot of sense.
That's one of my favorite kind of ways to look at things, especially lately. It's like really clicked in my head, like kind of I refer to it kind of as the vibrational quality of the food we're eating. And because if you just think very simply, what have human beings been eating forever? Live food, shit that we grew ourselves, right? That's what we've been eating forever. Or it's, you know, shit that we foraged or whatever, or hunted, you know, fresh. Almost no matter what, it's fresh. Because that's how we've always lived. There never was processed, manufactured, packaged anything. That's not a thing. You know, that's how we've always been eating forever, for millennia, fresh. And so our body, that's what we want. That's what we need. You know, basically all we really are is just a bunch of cells that are continuing to regenerate, right? And what does a cell need to regenerate properly? It wants nutrients, man. It wants the same thing the body wants. Your body's made of cells. It wants all the beautiful, yummy, goody things that are inside of fresh foods. And when you take that away and nothing is fresh, and you're not getting those extra little pieces of your diet that are we don't even realize. We just think about protein and, you know, vitamin C and just like, you know, carbs or whatever. You know, it's such a small piece, and there's such a humongous scale of all these phytochemicals and micronutrients and these antioxidants and all these compounds and things that go into your body and do stuff on such a deep level. When you take that away, and you're just focusing on just like, oh, it's carbs. Yeah, it'll make a turd, you know? Like, dude, you are asking for serious trouble. I mean, you've taken away the high-quality vibration. The aliveness is no longer in your diet.
Absolutely.
Does that make sense? Like,
100%. Yeah. I mean, I would even ask the audience this. Does it make you more happy to go pick an apple from an apple tree, wash it off, and eat it? Or does it make you happier to go to the grocery store, pick up an apple, put it in a bag, scan it, and then go home?
Right.
Well, I mean, like, that's just like, I know what it felt like to me, because my grandparents had 2 apple trees growing up. They had pear trees. They had a huge garden. It was the best to go over to my grandpa's house and pick an apple.
It's totally the best, dude.
Like,
yeah, I wouldn't even wash it, man. Like, if they're organic apples just chilling on a tree, no one's spraying, I'm eating the shit out of that apple, dude. I ain't spraying nothing, man. Get in my mouth. Yeah,
exactly.
Absolutely.
But it makes you happier.
Totally.
You know, those memories are actually remembered then. I mean, not that it's, the nutrients are obviously better at that point because you just picked it, but also the energy that goes into it, knowing, oh, I made this food. You have a lot more of appreciation for that food.
Truly. The connection is very real there. When you walk up to that tree yourself and you stare it dead in its face, if you will, you know, and you're selecting an apple, you know, you're exchanging this entire energy conversation with it as you pick the right one and pull it down and take a bite, and the tree's just watching you enjoy this apple. Like, that's sacred to me, you know. I mean, no
Absolutely.
joke. I mean, that's how it's supposed to be. That's how it always was.
Absolutely. So bringing back to your story, I'm curious. So the acne triggered you to want to get a little bit healthier. What else were you experiencing in your body at this time?
Just lethargy and just a feeling of just overall funk. You know, my gut was really
Lethargy.
Lethargy. Being lethargic, very tired.
Okay.
Yeah, and just feeling just lack of energy and just kind of difficult to do things that normally shouldn't be so difficult. I felt like shit, and my gut was really, I had a lot of issues. My bowels weren't great. You know, like I just knew. Like everything I ate seemed to make me bloated. Like I was not doing good, and it was really showing up on my skin. And it kind of, back to when I said every body is different. You know, certain people will just show symptoms in different ways. You know, that's just simply how we express the symptom, right? You could have the exact same problem, but you just show a different symptom for it, and that's just getting to know your body, right? And mine happens to be my skin on my face really shows through when something's going on, right? You know, if I've had a hard night drinking or something, I can wake up and I can see that on my face very quickly, you know, or if, you know, there's some food poisoning or something in my gut or whatever, I might get, you know, a little zit or a whitehead or something normally where I never would normally. And I'm like, oh, I know I ate a bunch of wheat yesterday, you know, like I can tell instantly on my face. And I've come to be cool with that now, but at the time that was the worst. I did not understand that's what was happening. I had no idea there could be a link between your gut and the skin on your face. What the hell? No one had ever even suggested that was a possibility. And come to find out, 100%, man. Yeah, like many skin conditions are coming from a dysfunctional gut. So yeah, once I figured that out, you know, what really got me going was doing a cleanse, actually. An entire gut cleanse.
And that's what you did to start this journey, was a gut cleanse?
It was. That is what started it. A parasite cleanse, as they refer to it, which basically just kind of cleans out your guts, if you will, you know, your intestines. And it sounds freaky, but it's incredible. It's just simply a bunch of herbs and you just watch your diet, and it's able just to push out a lot of all kinds of, you know, overgrowth of yeast or imbalance of bad bacteria in the gut, or if you have some kind of, you know, harmful organisms or whatever it may be, not to mention just a bunch of leftover gunk stuck to your insides. You know, we tend to carry around between 5 and 20 pounds of buildup in our intestines, in our colon. That's just hanging out.
That's just disgusting.
Shit. We're all just walking around with 5 to 20 pounds of shit just chilling inside of you.
That sounds so bad for you.
It's horrible for you. It's just sick, because I mean, that's a lot of where your nutrient absorption is going on too, is right there in your intestines. And so when you have all that stuff hanging around, it's just, you're not even absorbing. Even if you do eat good things, you're not absorbing what you should, you know. And so basically, after I did this, it clears a lot of stuff out, and my body just instantly kind of shrank back up. My bloating was gone. My food sensitivities were way, way less. I could sleep better. I had better energy. I felt like I was just, you know, lighter, and just felt just more just up, you know. I actually felt good, like how I should, and my skin cleared up. That was the craziest damn thing, is my skin cleared up. And that changed my life ever since. From there, I was a believer, basically. I was sold. Yeah.
I love it. Well, when you have those immediate results, it's easy to be like, man, I love this.
Yeah. I mean, it took a couple weeks for sure, a few weeks, you know, there's some dedication to it to just continue on the process, but your body wants to heal itself. I mean, it's a healing machine. That's all it does. You know, every single day, it just continues to regenerate, and it's amazing at it. But it needs things. If you don't give it what it needs, it can only regenerate so well. If you give it all the extra booster cool shit that it loves and needs, man, you watch that thing kick into high gear. It's amazing.
Absolutely. So this is what I know most people think about parasite cleanses. And thanks to you, I'm doing one in January.
Yeah, boy, we're doing one together.
Absolutely. And I'm so excited. But I know my thought process, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people watching that's like, I'm scared to take a shit and one of those suckers be looking back at me.
Yeah.
Can you speak a little to that?
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, this ain't my first Yahoo with a parasite cleanse. Crazy to think it's been like 10 years. It's been a decade of me getting into this, man. That's wild. It's wild. Yeah, it's actually really kind of like my strong suit, I feel like. I mean, that's really where my passion is, and anything in the health, arena, if you will, that whole genre of stuff. I love my herbs and everything, but specifically detoxing, cleansing is incredible. I would just say like it just is what it is. Like microbiology is very real, ladies and gentlemen. There's no getting around it. Bacteria exists, viruses exist, parasites exist, and you just got to take care of yourself. Like, I mean, yeah, you'll if you do the cleanse, it's very possible you'll see your poo-poo speckled with little sesame seed looking things. You know what I mean? Some people possibly pass out even like a worm or something. It's possible. Less common, but totally happens. Think about it. Would you rather go through like a couple seconds of, ew, that just came out of me? Or do you want it just to sit there inside of you, stealing your nutrients and causing a whole bunch of disease in your body? Like, you really want a parasite hanging out in your intestines? Like, no. So you just do what you got to do. And there's cultures all over this planet that have been doing this for, again, millennia. I mean, we've come to understand this very well, that they exist. You pick them up. It happens every year or two or so. You just take some stuff. It's clove. It's black walnut. I mean, it's
good for you.
It's good for you. These herbs are they're very well known to go through and just help, just provide an environment, basically, the parasite hates. That's really all it is. You just load up on these herbs that the parasite can't stand, and it just exits out your body.
Absolutely. So second question to that is, let's say somebody wants to rejuvenate their health and they're like, okay, I'm going to do a parasite cleanse. Is it good for them? This sounds like such a weird question, but I know it's not. Is it good for people to look at their poop? Or can they just flush it because they're scared to look at it?
That's so funny. That's the question, right? I love it. There's so many other questions I could think of to ask about this, and that's the one. What about the poop, though? The poop is real.
Well, poop says a lot about your health.
I look at my poop every time I poop. I want all of the listeners to know that. I look at my poop real good. I'm not weird about it, all right? I'm not touching nothing, okay? But I definitely give that a look every single time. Like, who doesn't? You just poop and then hurry and shut the lid and flush the toilet and run to wash your hands and get out. Like, what the hell?
I'm sure some people do, but...
Perhaps, I guess. Like little kids probably, they don't even bother to flush. They don't pay attention to shit, I think you should look, yes.
Okay.
I think in every case, cleanse or not, that's a good thing to keep an eye on. And especially for the cleanse, yeah, it just gives you that's how you know it's working.
Sure.
A couple, 2-3 weeks in, usually, especially a month, you start to see some activity. You've now created an environment that's been going on long enough that they're like, fuck this place, I'm out. They're jumping on the poo ship and then they want out of the body. They can't take it. And you'll see them, like you've seen your poos before. Look at all those weird speckles and what the hell things on there, you'll know it's something's going on. Yeah.
Okay. Good to know. So to talk to this, I don't know how diligent you were jumping into it your first time, but from what I understand, when you do a parasite cleanse or any cleanse, it's really important to watch your diet and eating the whole foods as well. Because if you're still feeding your body with the sugars and the processed foods, it's not nearly going to do as good of a job.
Correct. Yeah, 100%. Again, it's about giving your body what it wants to do its job properly, right? To do its job the best it can. Are you going to be absolutely 100% perfect? Probably not. I don't know many people who are, but the idea is to really, truly be as good about that as you can. Eat real food. It really is that simple. Beans, I think, are about one of the most amazing things on the planet. You can get a can of beans for like $1. $1.50, something like that. For organic, or garbanzo or black beans or, whatever they are. And you can just open up a can, throw in, some parsley, some cilantro, a little bit of garlic or something like that, toss it up, and boom, you got yourself a super salad right there. You have really nutrient-dense greens that you're throwing in there. You have, detoxifying and pungent herbs that are killing stuff off, garlic in there, a little turmeric or, some shit. And you have these amazing beans that are providing all the girth, the protein and the fiber, and they get to go through. And that's a cheap meal right there. So simple to make, and it tastes amazing. And yeah, you're doing like amazing nutrient bomb right there on your gut. It's
Absolutely.
It's everything. Yeah.
So you went through a cleanse. What followed after? What was that? What was the rest of the search until you would have considered yourself to be healthy?
I love that question. The cleanse is what really opened my mind to like, whoa, there's something else going on that I've never really heard about before. The doctors aren't telling me about this. The mainstream, whatever. No one's talking about this. How do these random herb plants really start? These herbs create an environment in my gut that makes these crazy parasite things that I picked up who knows how long ago leave my body, and now all of a sudden all my health issues are gone. Why don't they do that in hospitals? Why isn't everybody doing that? Like, what the hell is going on here? I can just start changing my diet and then incorporate these certain plants, and then all of a sudden I'm Superman? Why wouldn't everybody just do this? I was almost kind of outraged. Like it was such a bombshell to see what happened to me. I'm like, I've been going to doctor after dermatologist and shit, and they give me an antibiotic, and I take the antibiotic and my skin would get better for a while, and then I'd run out of the antibiotic and acne would come right back. And I'm just like, what is going on? And then it's jacking up my gut as I'm doing it, and so I'm getting a whole circle run about me by the medical system, only to find out that the cure is been a plant the entire time. It's just right there. And it just made so much sense. And so it developed a passion. What happened from there was really a passion that happened, that I was like, this is crazy. I'm going to really dig into this. I want to see how far I can take this. And I want to really tell people about it. Like, why wouldn't I want to show my family? I'm like, guys, like, check this out. This is amazing. All those, you got, hurting joints, and you got, my brother struggled a lot with eczema, and, my mom had her own gut issues for sure. And all of them overweight, and I was like, this is going to be amazing. I was going to love this. Holy shit, check it out, And it was funny because it was almost like maybe I came off a little too strong or something. I was so excited because they were like not about it. Like it was weird. I mean, I lost like almost 60 pounds within, I don't know, just a few months. I mean, maybe it was over the course of a year, the full 60, but I lost the first 40 in like just a few months. I mean, there's a huge difference. Skin cleared up. It was a big difference. It's like that wasn't enough to really convince them. They were just like so determined to kind of keep doing what they were doing. It was weird.
Well, it comes back down to convenience, right? For instance, I'll just throw it out there. Parasite cleanse for me in January was like $60 or something like that. To somebody, going out and having drinks sounds a lot funner than doing a parasite cleanse.
Oh, totally. Not to mention it's not nearly as arduous, you know what I mean? You don't have to be dedicated for 2 months straight to a certain diet and, taking these pills twice a day and whatever it may be. I mean, you really, not that it's that hard, but it's just you got to really be consistent with it. It's a lifestyle change.
Absolutely.
And that's hard.
But I like what you say about lifestyle change, because this is my perspective. And I'll just shine some light. Whenever me and Megan eat sugar, personally, we like to either go to Trader Joe's or we like to, because they like cut out all the dyes and all that bull crap. Did you know that about Trader Joe's?
Yes.
They don't allow red dyes into their store. None of their food does. And I'm all about cutting that out personally. But my sugars are either, and I'm not saying sugar is good for you, by the way. Like, this is not organic, non-organic. Sugar's not good for you. But we try to be conscious. But my sugar is either on date nights or Saturday or Sunday nights. I don't eat sugar outside of that.
Nice.
I believe in lifestyle changes. I don't believe in, like, for instance, I like that terminology because if I know something's good for me today, why wouldn't I do it forever?
Good little loaded question there, isn't it? Yeah. That actually probably really is how I look at things and how I must have looked at this, because I'm like, yeah, if this did all this for me, why would I stop?
Because people go on diets, they lose 20 pounds, and they go on the keto diet and they lose 20 pounds, and they're like, ooh, back to sugar daily. It's like, what the hell?
Right.
You're back to your same weight in
Right.
6 months or a year.
Right.
And then you go back to your little miserable diet again.
People, and that's, again, a lot of this is just mindset. There's so much confusion in this entire world and what people think is healthy. And the word diet, I think, is often a temporary thing in people's mind. It's like, oh, I'm on a diet. It's like, oh, it's not forever, right? I'm just currently on this diet. I'm just doing this for a little while to get myself under control. And then, I can be okay again and get fat again. Because being okay the first time is what got you your problems now, right? Being overweight or being diabetic or whatever, just doing what's okay. It's the socially normal, acceptable thing to eat all this trash. Doing what's okay got you here. So now you do a special diet to lose it. So you can just go back to eating okay again. So you can eat all your good stuff again, you know what I mean? But I'll be a little better about it. But then you just go right back to what people don't really understand, I think, is it's not so much even how much they eat, which is that's definitely a part of it. How much you eat is a big thing. What is the quality of what you're eating? Like, we're so hyper-focused on calories, and if I have 1,000 calories of chocolate wedding cake versus 1,000 calories of broccoli, which one? Obviously, the broccoli is going to be better for me, but it's not even about the calories. What's inside of that? Your body's not going to burn off 1,000 calories of cake like it's going to burn off 1,000 calories of broccoli. It's going to love that broccoli, man. Chocolate cake, you're going to get a spike of energy for a few minutes or whatever it may be, and you're going to crash. You're going to feel like shit and want to go to sleep. It's going to stick to your inside. Your body got nothing, no nutrients, nothing out of those 1,000 calories.
Absolutely. So this really made me think of something that I personally experienced, and I don't know how many people experience this other than me, but I experienced it. So I'm going to ask you. When I eat for my body an excessive amount of sugar, which probably considered to the average person isn't that much. So just to put that on the scale, my heartbeat skyrockets and I get extremely tired. Is that normal?
That kind of sounds like a sugar rush. If it's something where your body, especially if you're used to not really having any sugar, and all of a sudden you do, again, the ingredients, what kind of, not all sugar is just sugar. Sometimes it's listed as, 14 grams of sugar. Like, okay, but where's that sugar coming from? Is that like from honey? Is that from like agave inulin? Is that from just cane sugar? Is it from high fructose corn syrup? Like, where's the sugar coming from? Because it'll spike in different rates. You can have a much more consistent overall flow of sugar kind of going to your body's able to kind of metabolize a little bit better glycemic index, whatever you want to call it, where other stuff is just going to spike the hell out of you. So it could be if you're just kind of eating some cheap sugar, or if there's not like a lot of fiber to back it up, it's just a whole bunch of M&Ms or something. There's no like to it. It's just a bunch of sugar, it's not even honey or anything. It's just shit sugar. Then yeah, you could totally feel weird after that.
So that would make sense because I've never experienced that until I changed my lifestyle to dramatically cutting down my sugar.
Oh, that's probably the biggest difference right there. Is it when your body's not used? It's so funny. Like the same thing would happen with coffee or caffeine, right? If you kind of just took that out for the most part and you only had it like maybe once a week, every time you had that cup of coffee, dude, you would probably find yourself much more likely to be jittery and kind of like antsy and feeling maybe a little bit higher heartbeat or something. You're like, whoa, this doesn't happen to me. Is it this kind of coffee I'm using? It's like, no, your body's just not used to it like it used to be. The tolerance has gone down.
Because I was wondering if there was something wrong with me, but what I'm hearing is, no, you're actually healthier and your body just doesn't like sugar anymore.
Yeah, especially if it's just all of a sudden a spike kind of out of nowhere. Your body's just like, whoa, shit, like, I thought we weren't doing this anymore. And it kind of, you simply notice it more because it's not your body's normal thing to have to deal with anymore. Yeah.
I love that. Okay, so you went to cleanses, and how did you start to incorporate, okay, now I'm going to start to eat organic. Now I'm going to start to do my garden. Like, again, did you have any specific steps? Was it a specific just, I'm done with this? Like, what did that journey look like until you were like, I'm now healthy?
the journey never stops. The journey never stops. There's I'll have setbacks. I'll do things every now and then that I'm like, Tannon, that was totally not healthy. It was totally not cool. What the hell, bro? And there's always going to be, new things I find of ways to incorporate into my life for further health. It's always going to be a journey of progress, and we're always going to make mistakes. That's fine. Just keep going, keep integrating that stuff into your life. So for me, it's just a lot of research. I mean, at that point, I started to develop a passion for it. I had a few friends that were really about it and kind of took me under their wing and just taught me a lot of things and showed me the places to go. And I just started really learning specifically about the food system. And that's again, I had this kind of outrage a little bit of, what the hell? If it's that easy to just simply, detox people's colons, get all the shit out of their gut and rebalance their body, you know what I mean? Get your bacteria all good, which is huge. Like most of your self is bacteria, by the way, guys. Trillions and trillions. Like your body belongs more to them almost than it does to you, if you will. Like it's insane what's going on inside of us. Once you have that balance and your body's just happy on the inside out, everything changes. Basically, I just kind of realized like the system is setting people up for failure. And so I started reading more about what's going on in pesticides, why it's important to eat organic, why it's important to incorporate certain herbs and the areas where even if you do eat a really good diet, because of soil degradation and all these issues with, the commercial ways we do things, you're still not going to get all the nutrients you need. Even if you have a really good whole food diet and you're kicking ass and there's no junk, no nothing, you're still going to fall short. Sorry. You have to supplement. We're literally forced. That's how bad it's gotten environmentally for our planet and for ourselves is the food we grow. We cannot eat enough of the best food to still get what we truly need. So yeah, you are basically at that rate, you are basically forced to supplement if you want to have enough magnesium specifically, and you are probably vitamin D or B12.
And to stop you there, what magnesium? Because there's different versions of magnesium. Is there any specific magnesium that the human body, quote unquote, needs to function?
It really depends because it can occur in several forms, even in nature. You know what I mean? Like different kinds are good for you in different ways. I'd say just an overall, just a good one is like a chelated. They refer to it as magnesium. A magnesium glycinate or some bisglycinate, something like that. There's a whole bunch of malates and citrates and oxides and all kinds of stuff out there that can have benefit too, depending what you want to use it for. Whole food magnesium would be great as well. I mean, there's a few out there on the market. The other issue too, again, it's sad. This is sad. This is kind of a sad story. This system, right? You have all your shitty, terrible, horrible food out there, and you have all your truly good food, right? Well, it's the same thing with supplements. There's a whole bunch of shit out there. The same people that sell you shit food, don't buy supplements from them. Don't buy your supplements at Walmart. Don't buy your supplements at Walgreens or at freaking Smith's or wherever. Like, do not do that. It's garbage. Literally probably going to do more bad things for you than good. The stuff that's in there, read the back of the bottle. It's so much artificial colors and, all this GMO soy and like propylene glycol. There's crazy shit in there. Get your supplements from not there. Go, get them from Whole Foods, if you will, or a Sprouts or a Trader Joe's, perhaps, something like that. Online from a brand you trust. Anyways, you have to supplement is what I'm saying.
I just got to point this out that things change as well. Bill Gates, he's starting to put his pill certification that fits into the organic certification in this.
I was about to say, like, how can that even be and still keep the organic label, right? But the truth is there has been a lot of shenanigans with that USDA organic. They continue to water that down more and more. It's meaning less and less. And for very obvious reasons, you know what I mean? They're trying to make us sick. They're doing their absolute best. It's very apparent. They really don't want us to have access to good, wholesome, clean, nutritive, dense material.
And to speak to that, I would encourage everybody here to go research the stores that won't allow the pill sticker to be in. For instance, I know two, and that's Costco and Whole Foods. So is it better, as we're talking about these bigger grocery stores that do offer USDA organic foods, would it be better for us to go to a local farmers markets, or would it be better for us to shop at the Sprouts, the Whole Foods, the Costcos to get that organic food?
I would say where possible, the farmers markets. And the number one reason is it's most likely going to be fresher. We talked about being picked. As soon as it's picked, how long it's just constant degradation at that point, every single day. Really, I mean, who knows at the farmers markets? I mean, if it really is coming from somebody who owns the farm, they have the garden themselves and they just picked it, yesterday or that morning or whatever, you got to kind of figure that out. Maybe some of them do kind of do it on a little bit more mass scale and it's been sitting in the back of a truck for a week or something, like who knows? Even then, that's probably still going to be fresher than what you get at the grocery store. If it's both organic and they're both, actually organic, definitely go with the farmer's market. It's probably going to be cheaper and it's definitely going to be fresher. But that's an amazing contribution to give to community as well. Kind of starting these little countercultures, if you will. I've heard it referred to as counter economics, where we focus more and more on trade and barter within each other. Small business like things. Let's buy stuff from each other. Let's trade with each other, rather than always depending on Amazon and Costco and Walmart, et cetera.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Perfect. I love that. And now, to that question, when you go to farmers markets, there's different farmers there's different people offering different things. Mm-hmm. Is there a way to identify the quote unquote healthier fruits, vegetables, meats, so on and so forth?
I mean, that can be a little tricky. Some of them might have like an actual certification of some sort. A lot of them probably won't have an actual USDA certified organic plot. You know what I mean? If they're selling at a farmer's market, maybe, but maybe not. But they might have some other way of kind of showing that, it qualifies as this. Sometimes you just got to take their freaking word for it. You know what I mean? That's kind of a little bit the unfortunate part is you don't always know with farmers markets. It's just they're little guys. You know what I mean? Sure. The certification's expensive. And if somebody's just trying to grow some shit in their garden and then sell it to give people a healthy little something for a good price, sometimes you got to take their word for it, ask questions. Bingo. Yeah. Ask them questions. Do you spray? That's usually like the first question, right? That's a very common question. Do you spray? Just meaning are you spraying with Roundup? Are you using chemical shit? Do you spray your food, your stuff? And no spray. Sometimes they'll be like, there's no spray. On these ones over here, I had to use a little bit of neem oil to whatever, I use only organic, insecticides or whatever. Then it's like, cool. Yeah, that's fine. But again, sometimes you got to just take their word for it.
So there's spray and then there's fertilizer. To me, those are two different things. Is that fair?
They are. Yeah.
So is it fair to say that there should be a question asked as far as what they use to fertilize their soils?
Totally. But another fantastic question. Yeah. Or what kind of soil are you using? Would be another one. Where do you grow? Are you on the side of a freeway somewhere? Or do you have a little plot that's more out of the way? You can ask a few things. Ask whatever you want. I really, you want to know, are they spraying? Yeah. Did you use fertilizers, commercial fertilizers? When was it picked would be another good one. How fresh is this,
And where do you grow?
Yeah. And where do you grow? Is this from you? Is this from some other farmer guy you knew up in Idaho and you just came down here to sell it for him? Where is this from? Yeah.
And that gives you a really good idea. Do you spray? Do you use fertilizers? Where do you grow? Mm-hmm. And when did you pick it? Yeah. And that really will determine the quality of the food.
Assuming they're being honest with you. yeah, right.
And hopefully the people on here have a good understanding of people and can have a good you can't know everything, but intuitionally you can ideally tell, is this person an honest person?
I agree. There's definitely a vibe about certain people. Usually they're going to take a lot of pride in what they do. I grew these myself, and it's all from my garden. It's all organic. It's absolutely. I would never. And it's always, you can just feel it in them. They're proud of how good of quality their shit is, and it's all right, that's who I'm going to buy it from. And I think most people at farmers markets too aren't there to spray the hell out of things with glyphosate and then lie to you about it. You know what I mean? Probably not, but yeah, it's good to ask questions.
Absolutely. So as we round this up, I really want to create some next best steps for the audience. Because again, this is the Journey to Authenticity podcast. And as far as I'm concerned, it's a very holistic approach. And if we're not healthy, if we don't have a healthy body, doesn't really matter who you are if you're in the ground.
Amen.
We want ideally the audience can come out of this and be like, if I do this, 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 and this, I'm going to feel better in my body, which is naturally going to allow me to live a more authentic life with who I am and my confidence. So would you say the step one for everybody is to cleanse?
Honestly, I mean, yeah, that really is where I would start. It's just, this is a toxic world we live in, period. The air, the water, the food, even in the environment, sometimes the people even, but especially what we're intaking in our bodies, we are inundated to a astronomical amount of just insane pollutants. So we need to pull this stuff out. Our body can only do so much on its own. So yeah, get into detoxing. Apple cider vinegar is a tremendous one. Make sure it is organic, get a raw one. If it's raw, organic apple cider vinegar, I mean, you can do so much with that. Put a little teaspoon in water each morning. You can do a titch of cayenne pepper, some cinnamon in there, maybe a little, squeezed lemon. And you just drink that up every single morning.
And what does apple cider vinegar, what would that cleanse? What would that offer people? Just I know it does a lot.
Sure.
But on a general consensus, what would that offer to people?
Like literally so much. It's actually like one of the most famous things kind of, again, in the health world. And the taste is usually what deters people, to be honest. But try to get over that. I mean, I hated it at first. I hated vinegar. And now it's like, I couldn't live without it. I love it. My palate changed, truly. Give it some time and you'll get there. But basically, it's an amazing detoxifier, specifically for your liver. It's amazing for your gut. It's got very rich in enzymes. It helps break down food. It helps flush things out. It's just a powerful way to really get things moving in your system and begin to exit out toxins.
Maybe as a selling point, I don't know if you experience this, but when I drink alcohol, if I follow it up with apple cider vinegar, I don't feel nearly as crappy in the morning.
So, truth be told, I've been making drinks with apple cider vinegar lately.
Really?
I kid you not. Which maybe sounds gross at first. It's like totally not. Like it's actually like amazing. It's almost like this weird hard cider that I end up making with it. If you do, a little bit of gin and some organic, of course. I swear to God, I get organic gin, organic vodka. That's not even a lie. And I'll mix it with my vinegar and maybe a little lemon or something else. And it's tremendous.
Absolutely.
It's really good, actually.
But you feel way less crappy.
You totally do.
Maybe that's a selling point to some people.
It's no joke. I live by that stuff. I really, people ask me how I stay so skinny, and there's plenty of stuff that I'll eat or, occasionally drink. And it's the herbs, man. It's the vinegar. Like that's how you do it. Just keep your body in that kind of high metabolic rate by keeping the good stuff going through. So, yeah, I get into cleansing.
So obviously there's parasite cleanses, there's liver cleanses, there's heavy metal cleanses. Like to me, if somebody hops on and's like cleanses, might become overwhelming. Like, how do I do this? What ones do I do?
Indeed.
Speak to that. Like, is there any main ones that you would suggest to start with?
Really start with probably either like a liver cleanse or like a colon cleanse.
Colon cleanse equals parasite cleanse?
Not necessarily. If you just want to giddy up and go, I would recommend, and by the way, I am not a doctor. I am not a medical professional. This is not medical advice. This is not me telling you to go do something. Just want to get that out there real quick.
This
legalities.
is what you would do.
100%. This is what I tell people. If I do work with you on something, like I'm going to tell you like flat out, I'm not telling you to do anything, but this is what I have done, and this is what there seems to be an immense amount of peer-reviewed, evidential suggestibility that works very well. Is that the parasite cleanse is incredible. I mean, it targets so many things at once. That's what's amazing about it. The herbs used in that not only do a tremendous job for clearing out any kind of harmful organisms. Again, if you have overgrowth of yeast, candida, if you're worried about too much bad bacteria in your gut or diverticulitis or something weird, if you have, it's going to clear all that out, but also it's going to work on even heavy metals as well. There's ones that'll include fulvic and humic acid and different things in there that, again, do a great job to clear out bad bacteria and microorganisms, but also they will pull out heavy metals. It'll pull out things from your liver and help get things moving from all kinds of different, detox pathways in your body. It's almost like an all-in-one type of deal. That you get the right parasite cleanse. I'll throw one out, Wellness of Life. Well of Life, I believe is what it's called. Sorry. It's a brand I have come to really, that's the one that we're going to be taking, actually. Jonathan Otto is the man. Quick shout out. And I think you would probably really just see a tremendous amount of benefit across the board with something like that.
Perfect. And any brands that you'd recommend for a colon or a liver cleanse? Any specific brands there?
I would check out Global Healing Center. That's
.com, I assume.
Yeah, globalhealingcenter.com. Yep. Yeah, that's Dr. Edward Group. Again, amazing products there. You know, you are getting the absolute top quality, and that stuff works. I've used it myself. If you're looking specifically, if you have, you know, any kind of like a, you know, Crohn's or something going on, you know, within your gut, you know, some kind of autoimmune, you know, issue or something along those lines, IBS, whatever, that I'm telling you guys, I mean, that will change your life. Looking into Global Healing Center and different colon cleanses, et cetera. Yeah.
I love that. Perfect. Now, cleanses. Okay, so now let's go to more of their day-to-day life. What are some best next steps that they could start to just change from, okay, I'm going to move away a little bit. Even a small percentage is going to make a difference. How can they move a little bit away from processed foods? How can they move a little bit away from refined sugars? Speak to that a little bit.
I love it. You ask great questions, man. This is really good. I would say, funny enough, you kind of almost start the same way. Start incorporating good things. I think is a really powerful way to start. If you can really get behind doing some apple cider vinegar, I am not even playing. I will never stop gloating about how great that stuff is. If you can do that little tonic every morning, your little apple cider vinegar, a little teaspoon or so in water, get that, you know, lemon and cayenne, cinnamon, whatever, make a little tonic each morning, you'll start to find that maybe you have less desire for as much sugary stuff, you know. You keep giving your body this little extra amp up, and you kind of start getting a little bit of cleanse going. You just start feeling a little bit better, and you kind of almost feel more of an inner desire to keep eating more good stuff, because it feels good to do that. You feel like your vibration kind of going up a little bit, you know. So you're like, all right, I'm gonna, you know, instead of getting a coffee or a Monster or something today, I'm gonna get a kombucha, or I'm gonna get a, you know, something, whatever. I may make myself a smoothie. Start incorporating small little healthy things into your life, and just kind of enjoy it, and start seeing it work for you, and then just start getting more and more excited. That's one way I'd say. A quality multivitamin, something like that, magnesium, again, incorporating things like that. You'll notice a difference. You'll get excited about it, and it's going to kind of amp you up to start adding in more. And then the other thing I'd say, hands down, is get rid of wheat, get rid of it. You make it gone out of your life. That will singly do the biggest amount of everything for you. And again, there is good wheat out there, you know, like old school, like ancient grain wheat, heirloom wheat, they refer to it as, you know, that really can be just fine to have, you know, einkorn wheat or whatever, you know, organic sprouted wheats are fine, but just your average, just flour that you're getting out there, it is GMO'd, it is full of insane amount of pesticides, it's very difficult for your body to digest. Get that out. Whether it's, you don't have to necessarily go gluten-free, it's not about that, but just get wheat gone. And if you can lower that sugar, those are the two main things. If you can even just lower those, even if you can't eradicate them, if you can just decrease that, the wheat and sugar, you will see huge improvements across the board. Yeah.
So, two-part question this, because wheat's a big part of life.
Yes.
For a lot of people.
Huge.
It's even in candy when you're not eating your breads. Like, it's a big part of
soy
life.
sauce, it's everywhere. Yeah.
So, two-part question. One, is organic noodles, organic breads, sourdough bread okay? And then second part to that is noodles. People like noodles. A lot of Americans do. If that's not okay, what type of noodles do you recommend? What actually tastes good?
So there's a ton of stuff. I mean, if you can get at least organic, you know, that's going to do you that's going to do a lot of good right there. You can at least get organic noodles, if you will. But like really look for like more, like there's so many different other kinds. They make black bean spaghetti noodles, they make out of mung beans, they make them out of chickpeas, they make them out of, gluten-free, brown rice and different all kinds of, they'll do spelt flour, they'll do, einkorn. There's a ton of different varieties out there. And if you shop less at, Walmarts and Smiths and things like that, and you try more, at a Sprouts or a Natural Grocers or something like that online, or something called Thrive Market, which is incredible. I've absolutely come to love them. You can find all kinds of different healthy variations of your standard normal products. But yeah, just like a standard ramen noodles, trash, complete garbage. Not only is it a bunch of just completely shit GMO wheat, but it's a bunch of MSG in there as well. Your macaroni and cheese Kraft, like garbage, dude. Get that out of your life. But if you go to Sprouts, you can get Annie's macaroni and cheese, right? They have organic macaroni and cheese. I'm not going to tell you that's good for you, but that's going to be hell and gone better than the Kraft. It really is. It's not going to be the diabolic nightmare, metabolically for your body. It's going to be at least decent. So making switches like that of just getting away from standard crap wheat and looking at just higher quality items.
And so let's just say organic wheat bread to organic sourdough bread.
Sourdough is the bomb. I mean, anything fermented is such a great way to go. Another reason why apple cider vinegar is as great as it is, the fermentation process, sauerkrauts, so many things. Sourdough is great. Yeah, especially if it's organic. Dave's Killer is an awesome brand of bread. I get it's not sourdough, but it's organic. It's sprouted. It's hearty on my gut. If I eat just a plain piece of bread, like a flour tortilla or something from somewhere, I feel not good after. I just feel heavy and just kind of bloaty and like, in my gut. Whereas if I can make a mean sandwich, some, my hard-boiled eggs and some spinach and, whatever I decide to put on this 2 pieces of Dave's Killer bread, and I feel great. No issue taking down that bread. And I think that just speaks to the quality of what I'm eating. My body's able to break that down way easier than a super processed, shitty white flour tortilla.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing is it's okay to eat wheat, just get higher quality.
Yes. Yeah, when I say get wheat out, standard wheat, which unfortunately is most wheat out there. Any of your baked goods that you're getting or just some little package, some shit, it's going to be your standard wheat. And it's awful for you. It destroys your gut. It literally starts to break it apart, tear things apart, and you will have leaky gut.
We don't want leaky poop in our system.
You don't want leaky gut. Take care of your gut. It is everything.
Absolutely. Perfect. And candies, chocolates.
Again,
everybody likes a sweet treat.
Here's the best advice ever. Okay, when it comes to what you're putting in your body, right? In my opinion, read the ingredients. I think this is like this is like one of the most powerful tools you will ever develop in your life, is being able to be fluent in ingredient stuff. And quite simply, if you're reading stuff on there, you have no idea what the hell it's even saying, you probably shouldn't eat it. If there's scary words on there that sound like, PEG 5 and artificial dye number 3 and, whatever propylene glycol and high fructose corn and all these like weird MSG, all these weird acronyms and shit, they're like, don't eat that. Don't put that in your body. Your body doesn't want acronyms. It wants real ingredients. It wants real food, So yeah, with candy or with chocolate, get a higher quality. They make plenty of, whether it's organic or whether it's, it's at least like a 70% dark chocolate, or just simply look on the back and make sure there's no, weird emulsifiers or artificial what the hell or corn syrups. Get that out. Yeah, simple.
Perfect. Man, I could talk to you ages.
I know, man. I could talk for ages too. But
you really do know your stuff, and I genuinely feel like if somebody takes this podcast by hand, not only will they change their health by starting to cleanse, but they'll start to change their lifestyle just by making these small, minute tweaks.
That's where it starts. You can't change it all in one day. Don't try that. Just start slow, do little things, see the differences, feel them, get excited, and keep going.
And that's like with anything. My favorite quote, as probably everybody knows in this room and on the podcast, is a journey to 1,000 miles begins with a single step. And
yep.
My other favorite quote is, if you naturally become more in life, you can naturally achieve more in life. So if we're willing to become more and take the next step to instead of doing this today, I'm going to go buy a cleanse, or instead of getting this crappy candy bar, I'm going to get a little bit of a healthier candy bar. Those little steps will add up to be so much in life.
Totally.
Absolutely. So thank you so much for coming on. Do you have any last messages for the audience that you'd like to throw out there?
Love yourself. You are the one in your own corner, and it's you live with for the rest of your life. So love yourself enough to like do nice things for you. You know, you deserve to be healthy. Yeah.
Absolutely. And me, the audience, what can we do to support you?
You can live your best lives, take care of yourself. You know, what supports me is to see strong people around me. If you want to take a visit to my website, collectivevibration.org, there's some cool resources and stuff on there. You know, I'm always down to chat. Yeah.
And all the websites, your website will be dropping down below. That way people can get to those resources. Megan will be dropping that list of the stores that don't carry the Appeal products. That way we can go for it fully into those stores instead of chancing getting a crappy product by Bill Gates. And
don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that. And most definitely go support your local farms and farmers markets. So thank you.
Amen.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for coming on, Tannon. It's been
Thank you, Braiden. This has been amazing, man.
Absolutely. Have a good one, everybody. Thank you again for listening to the Journey to Authenticity show. And if you like what you heard, please subscribe and leave a review. It really helps me to be able to get better guests that is going to make the most interesting and transformational show. Have a wonderful rest of your day.